Thank you for joining us on This Is Exclusive. Ladies and gentlemen, the US aid controversy. Now, why are we doing the US aid controversy one day after the next? On this show, This Is Exclusive, we've been getting you details that just don't add up. America has been pumping in dollars into India. And over the weekend, we had that big bomb being dropped by Doge. Elon Musk's Doge, saying that 21 million was sent to India to ensure a higher voter turnout. Who got the money? How did they help voter turnout? And did that voter turnout help the BJP or the Congress party? Isn't that direct election interference? As we looked at the details of USAID, we had some more big explosive details. We have that on the show in the next 30 seconds. Big story coming up. Here are the headlines. Files with Republic TV show that millions and millions of dollars were pumped into India to NGOs whose identities are now being hidden by America. Names of the NGOs redacted.
ये कौन सी शक्तियां हैं जो भारत में इस प्रकार चुनावी प्रक्रिया को प्रभावित करने या उसके अंदर कोई समस्या उत्पन्न करने के हेतु से आर्थिक अनुदान पाती हुई दिखाई पड़ रही थी, ये बहुत गहरा संदेह हमारे मन में उत्पन्न होता है।
BJP claims US aid allocated $21 million. This is based on what Elon Musk has said to influence voter turnout in India. Calls for investigation into interference. Congress MP Arnab Goswami does not deny meeting the then Pakistani envoy Abdul Basit, says he's fully aware of his responsibility as Member of Parliament.
Customary for members of Indian Parliament to interact with delegates of different countries.
Republic asks direct questions on the nature of engagement and whether there was a debriefing. Arnab Goswami calls it a customary courtesy meeting, says obligations were met. Assam police registers a case against Pakistani national and Elizabeth Gogoi's former colleague Ali Tokir Sheikh for his comments on India's internal affairs and backing Arnab Goswami, the link now being investigated.
I don't know what is the threat from China. I think there is always this thing blown out of at times proportion because US has the habit of defining an enemy.
Rahul seen in his own video flying a Chinese drone banned in India. Drone Federation of India raised serious concerns. Congress leader Sam Pitroda, Rahul's guru, seen singing the Chinese croon tune again. So the last few days, we've been reporting on This Is Exclusive about money pumped into India, money that was used in some cases to interfere with Indian elections, money that was perhaps being laundered, money to back dubious media firms and entities to peddle an American narrative, and money to NGOs in the name of human rights, civil liberties. Believe it or not, Republic has accessed the full file, and the number will blow your mind. It will blow your mind because US has decided to hide the identities of the NGOs that got the money. Key NGOs, their identity has been hidden. $35 million that came into India, $35 million, which amounts to, and catch your breath, hold your breath, 306 crore rupees. 306 crore rupees came to just 5 NGOs. And the names of those NGOs have been redacted. or censored or hidden or blanked out. And what is even more surprising, and I'll take one more breaking before going across to Ambassador Deepak Vora. All of this money came between 2018 and 2020. Ask yourself what happened in those years. USAID has redacted or censored data online in a panic move when it comes to Indian NGOs. Republic has accessed key USAID file on redacted entities. And we have with us the second element. I'm going to now show you one single NGO whose name has been redacted for security reasons, says America. The year 2020, the category for which this particular NGO in India got the funding was for democratic participation. And the amount of money that was pumped into this one NGO was 107 crore rupees. And the name of that NGO has now been redacted. Why would America do that? I want to go across to Ambassador Deepak Vora, who's joining us. Before that, let me also tell you, Ambassador Vora, I want to show you some more details. That was just one NGO that got this much, 107 crore rupees. Let me show you the names, right? Society and Growth. In the category Society and Growth, another Indian NGO, name redacted once again, got 60 crore rupees. 60 crore rupees for the category Society and Growth. Now, what society, what growth, what democratic participation? Year 2020, remember what happened in the year 2020, ladies and gentlemen? Critical year. It's the COVID year when COVID broke out, and it's the year in which the Delhi riots broke out. Delhi riots, peak of Delhi riots in 2020. Let me show you the other redacted NGOs. Other redacted NGOs for human rights in the year 2018, 1 year before the riots broke out. Human rights, in the name of human rights, 50 crore rupees, 50 crore 10 lakh rupees pumped into an NGO in India whose name has been redacted. The year is 2018 in the name of human rights. Let me show you more. Let me show you more of the redacted NGOs. 45.6 crore pumped into another NGO whose name has been redacted. The year is 2016. Category is governance. What is going on? Ambassador Deepak Vora joining us on the broadcast. Okay, I've shown you the numbers. Former Ambassador Deepak Vora. Ambassador Vora, you look at these numbers. 307 crore into 5 NGOs. And their names have been redacted or censored. What do you make of it, sir?
First of all, thank you very much for highlighting this issue that we are all deeply concerned about. I compliment you, sir.
Thank you.
When you yourself are brilliant and you work for a channel that is truly amazing, the best in the world.
Thank you, sir.
I've served in the United States. I've served in many countries where USAID has been active. Now, may I say to you with total sincerity, and we in the Indian Foreign Service, we don't BS, if I may use that term, sir. Not one of the countries where USAID has been active that I've served in likes it, because they play games with the political situation. They try to influence the outcome of elections. And the 2 pictures that you are showing on your screen right now, these under them were some of the worst offenses committed by USAID. Now, I go back, I'll tell you a little story, sir, if you give me
Please go ahead.
A few seconds.
Please go ahead.
I was ambassador in Armenia, and I remember the president once telling me a little story about a shepherd moving with some sheep. And then this car pulls up, a Humvee or something like that with all kinds of antennas. A chap pops out and says, look, I'll give you 3 pieces of vital information, and in return, I'll take one of your sheep. So the shepherd shrugs his shoulders. And the fellow says, well, look, you have 342 sheep. They have an average fat content of 28. And the price on the Chicago Stock Exchange of sheep meat per pound is so much. So then he picks up an animal and puts it in his car, says, I've kept my part of the bargain. So then the shepherd calls him and says, do you work for USAID? And the guy says, how do you know? He said, well, first you give me 3 pieces of information that is totally useless. I know how many sheep I have. I can't every day. What the fat content is, I don't care. I sell the entire sheep. And who's worried about what's happening on the Chicago Stock Exchange? But how did I know that you are USAID? Because the animal you put in your car is a dog, not a sheep. Now that was a story told to me by the president. We were flying from Delhi to Agra. He was on an official visit. I found that absolutely hilarious. And then the Yemenis president, whom I know informally before all the trouble started when I was there, he told me another story that when they were members, non-permanent members of the UN Security Council, I think it was in 1990, they voted against some kind of American-inspired resolution. And the American ambassador apparently told the Yemeni's president that, buddy, that's the most expensive anti-American vote you've ever cast. And USAID pulled out the next day. Now, they've been playing these games, interfering with political systems. They've been trying to influence elections, outcomes, programs, policies in recipient countries. In fact, Leon Blum's book, which I read and keep reading, America's Deadliest Export Democracy.
Yeah.
The thing that an agency that was created to promote American values, American foreign policy interests, has turned around, in a perverse way, actually damaging those interests. As far as India is concerned, this money has gone to very dubious, no good organizations. You call them NGOs, no good organizations. These are created by shady characters. Some of them have political affiliations. What will they do with all this money? To increase voter turnout, are you going to buy cars to take the voters to the voting booth? Are you going to give them money to go and vote? How will you select which voters have to be carried to the voting booth? There's far more to this than meets the eye. They can make all the denials that they want. They can talk about, we are participating in this program, that program. And the funniest thing I read on social media was some woman somewhere in Zimbabwe saying that, Mr. President, don't freeze USAID money. They were funding my research in the propensity of lizards in Zimbabwe. Gay relationships. I said, no, research on that, and you have frozen that. So this kind of, on the one hand, it's funny, but on the other hand, it's very dangerous because
it is.
He's a dangerous old man. When you mess around with elections, and we have evidence, you have it more than I do. What was happening in Manipur, these buffoons were involved. They create all kinds of agencies, all kinds of organizations. I have known people, and I say so openly, who've come to me and said, Mr. Ambassador, USAID is giving money for whatever. I'm going to create an NGO tomorrow morning so I can access this money. Can you help me? And I said, before my shoe has an imprint on your rear, please leave from here because we're not in this business. But I'm so pleased that Donald Trump has understood this and has shut down this thing. I think they used to have 10,000 employees. 10,000 employees? Are you joking, sir? For 100 countries or whatever they were involved in. Now they are down to less than 1,000. I'm very pleased. Shut it down because it was your interest. It was damaging the interests of the countries that you're supposed to be helping. You were indulging in activities that are thuggish. You are indulging in activities that are anti-national as far as the countries who are recipients are concerned, and you are doing no good to your bilateral relationship with those.
Of course, now in focus is this funding, the $21 million to the Election Commission. I wouldn't say it is for the Election Commission. It was to increase voter turnout, right? Now, I have a breaking news update on that. I want you to see this picture. I'm breaking that right now on the show. On the 17th of May, let me put that picture out. On the 17th of May in the year 2012, I'm putting an exclusive watermark over that picture. 17th of May 2012, the Election Commission of India signs a MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, with IFES, International Foundation for Electoral Systems, at New Delhi. That's an exclusive picture, right? IFES in Delhi for developing and strengthening democratic institutions and processes. IFES, a foreign organization, ties up with EC. Focus of MOU was to make available the knowledge and experience of ECI to election managers and practitioners around the world through Commission's India International Institute of Democracy and Election Management, IIIDEM. MOU signed by Dr. S.Y. Qureshi, the then Chief Election Commissioner, Mr. William Sweeney, President and CEO IFES. Memorandum of Understanding aims to promote working partnership between ECI and IFES. Now my question, Ambassador, quickly, why in the world, and this was in 2012 in the UPA regime, why in the world was our election commission doing information sharing make available knowledge and experience of ECI to election managers and practitioners around the world. Why would you do that?
I just don't understand. You are selling out your soul, sir, for a little bit of money. And the Election Commission of India, that we have so much of faith in, just conducted the world's biggest elections, have done this previously also. We don't need to learn from anybody. We can teach them. There are so many countries that look to India for advice on how to conduct elections, and we are going around to these jokers asking them, sir, America's population as of today, and I think the millions of people who watch your show would be interested, is 34 crores, sir, 340 million. I have 340 million students in India. I've just returned from the Mahakumbh. How many deaths did we have by drowning with 40 crore people bathing there? Not one. We know how to manage things, sir. We didn't need this money from these jokers. But I think it was a question of mindset. It was a question of vested political interest. I'm not naming anybody. Mr. Qureshi is a civil servant, a year senior than I am. I don't know why he would have done this, sir. At times we are required to suppress the inner voice, our conscience, and do whatever we are asked to do by whoever is in power at that time. I'm absolutely horrified at what you have just shown, sir. I hang my head in shame because I'm sorry, sir. This is not the Bharat that I love so dearly. This is not the Bharat that is standing up and saying, look, we know how to handle matters, we'll do it ourselves. I just hope that this is thoroughly investigated and the fellows behind it are exposed and punished as well. They should be. But I'm delighted that USAID is pulling out. They won't be able to play any more of these games unless they come back under some kind of new incarnation for population control or education or whatever in India. We will be very alert now. And as far as this money is concerned, obviously it came through banking channels. That's how we've been able to pay. But this Soros character, Soros, whatever, as soon as he dies, I think I will celebrate. We'll drink champagne together. This fellow has caused so much of damage to some of the countries where I've served, where he's not even allowed to enter now. They just don't like the fellow. America's governments, diplomats work to promote American interests. USAID has been working to damage those interests.
Full frame. Look at the picture once again. I'm reading out the names of people in that picture. See the picture, remember the names as I bring you this story. 21 million sent to IFES, sent by the USAID to IFES, which works with the Election Commission to improve election turnout, voter turnout. And what did they do? They signed an MOU with the Election Commission of India to understand, knowledge share. Why should India's Election Commission share knowledge with other countries? What kind of knowledge was being shared? Did they share our data? I don't know. Now, what I can tell you from this picture is HS Brahma, the people you see in this picture, HS Brahma, the Election Commissioner, Dr. S.Y. Qureshi, former Chief Election Commissioner of India, right? S.Y. Qureshi was there in that picture. HS Brahma was there, was then the Election Commissioner. William Sweeney, President IFES, Mr. V.S. Sampath, then Election Commissioner and present CEC. Okay, this is an old picture. But the names, remember the names, HS Brahma, S.Y. Qureshi, William Sweeney, V.S. Sampath. It's a 2012 picture. Who was in power then? The Congress Party. I'm ending with that note. Just think about it, ladies and gentlemen. Just think about it as I end this show. Think about it. These are the same parties that were in power back then in 2012. It was the Congress Party. The same opposition today was ruling back then, the UPA. They were ruling back then. And they today say democracy is in danger and that Election Commission is compromised. They took US dollars and allowed knowledge sharing of the Election Commission, data sharing, knowledge sharing. What extent did we compromise? We don't know. But this is a huge controversy. Arnab debating this tonight at 9 p.m. Ambassador Vora, thank you for joining us. Big story on This Is Exclusive, taking it up on the debate with Arnab Goswami at 9 p.m. as well. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen.